All right, everyone. Big round of applause for my friend. Bryce did a great talk, and I'll take it away. Here you go.
I don't have a great talk. So while we're starting, thank you, Ian, for the great talk. And before mine's going to really suck in comparison. So I'm Brendan, as you can see. If you're wondering how to pronounce the last name, it's pronounced Smith. The Honadel is silent. Honadel is silent. That's as funny as this presentation is getting. So a little bit about me. And these are totally washed out. Stand here. There we go. So why you should listen to me, who I am. I'm a cyber forensic analyst at the University of Guelph. Yes, I have the word cyber in my job title. It's underlined and bolded for a reason. I'm very proud of it. Does anybody know the University of Guelph? I'm sure people have heard of Guelph. Yeah!
519.
For those of you who don't know, the University of Guelph, we're largely an agricultural university. Some of our most interesting research includes the EnviroPig, which is a pig that is very efficient at processing phosphorus. So it has less of an impact on the environment. We also own a number of soy patents. We also genetically modified a rat, so it's really good at growing tumors on its back for research. The best thing we've done, though, is the Yukon Gold potato. That came from Guelph, not from the Yukon. Thank you. One fan. All right. Somebody here likes mashed potatoes. Good stuff. So I like to hack stuff, like just about everybody in the room. I'm cheap. That theme is going to be reoccurring in this talk. This is the main motivation behind my research. I like to dream of being on a red team one day, also part of the motivation for my work. I have letters behind my name: OSCP, OSCE, CISSP. Woo! Yeah. Anybody else have CISSP in the audience and wants to talk about fire extinguishers later? I'm more than happy to. I wrote Overthruster. You'll learn all about that later. And I'm on Twitter, which you can't read at all. It's my last name. I'm not on Mastodon, unfortunately, but oh well, maybe one day. So here's the schedule for my presentation. First, I'm going to do a title slide, and then introduce myself, and then show the schedule, and then do the rest of the presentation. So 3 out of 4 so far. I'm doing good. So a little history on how we got to all my research and stuff. So last year I got permission from work to go to Defcon, about this time last year, and I'm walking away from the spot. And so I started looking at the vendors that were going to be at Defcon. I wanted to bring a bunch of extra cash so I could get some toys. And one of them was Hack5. I'm sure a number of you guys are familiar with their work. I'd actually never heard of them, so I checked out their website and found the USB rubber ducky, one of these bad boys. So for those of you who don't know what this thing does, it does what's called an HID attack, a human interface device attack. So what it does is it emulates like a keyboard, and it will inject keystrokes. HID, human interface device, is a keyboard, a mouse, a joystick, steering wheel, that kind of thing. So I couldn't wait till Defcon because I thought this thing was super awesome, so I ordered one. I started playing with it, and I thought it was super cool. It comes with this awesome optional decal here, which I really like. So the way the USB rubber ducky works is it has this really simple scripting language. And you write out a script and run it through the ducky encoder, and it spits out a bin file. And then you stick the bin file on the micro SD card, and you plug it into a machine. The machine thinks it's a keyboard, and it starts typing out whatever you put in the script. Pretty cool, neat way to deliver some cool payloads. So this is what one of the USB ducky scripts looks like. This is hello world, super simple, super straightforward. So there's a delay of 3,000 milliseconds at the beginning. I'll get into that a little bit later. GUI R just means hitting the Windows button. Another delay. Then it types out Notepad. Another delay. Hits Enter. Another delay. Types out Hello World. Enter. Pretty rad. Started playing with it. Started getting some payloads delivered. Thought it was pretty fun. But I ran into 2 things that I really didn't like about it. So the first one that really drove me nuts was this delay 3000 here. Anybody have any idea what that's for?
Wait till they drop it to life.
Exactly. That sucks. And here's why. What happens if you plug it into a computer that's...
Can you repeat the answer?
Oh, sorry. waiting for the driver to load. So what I don't like about that is that time's always going to be different, right? If you plug it into a fresh Windows install with a blazing fast SSD, it'll take 1 or 2 seconds. If your delay is too long, the person's going to think the USB stick is broken. They'll unplug it before your payload is delivered. If it's an old, 7-year-old version of Windows 7 on an old platter hard drive that's never been defragmented, it'll take 10 seconds for the driver to load. And by then, the USB rubber ducky will have already delivered its payload, except it wouldn't have typed it out because the driver hadn't been loaded yet. The other thing I didn't like about it was the price. It's $50 US, plus shipping, conversion, tax, it's about 75 bucks. I've never done any red team stuff. I have no idea how much a red team engagement costs, but the thought of buying 10 of those for 750 bucks and sprinkling them into a parking lot and probably getting half back seemed like a big waste of money. So I decided I'm going to build one myself, and I'm going to build it for half the price. So I started looking on the internet and figured someone else has probably already done this. Hopefully I can just take their research, their work, and make it better. So I looked around for a while, and the first thing I found was fucked. And it stands for Programmable HID USB Keyboard, but you guys thought I swore. So this was made by Adrian Crenshaw, also known as Iron Geek. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who he is. He hosts pretty much every single talk video on his website and a whole bunch of other stuff. So he came up with this thing. It's built off of the Teensy, which is kind of like a fancier Arduino. Teensy is nice, but it's still too expensive. It's about 30 bucks. And like I said, I'm cheap. The other thing is it looks a little suspicious. Now, if I saw this thing in a parking lot, I'm not going to pick it up and plug it into my computer. I think it kind of looks like some kind of IoT toothbrush that syncs with your phone and tweets every time you brush your teeth. Hey, dental hygiene. Now, he did do some cool stuff. I'll give him that. This thing here is a light sensor, and the idea is you plug it into the back of someone's computer, and then at night when they leave and turn the lights off in their office, then it delivers its payload. That's kind of cool. He also has a bunch of toggle switches here, so you can actually switch the payload, which is also pretty cool. But again, too expensive and looks like crap. When I found this, USB drive-by by Sammy Kamkar. You guys know who he is, MySpace hacker. Cool dude. He used Teensy 3.1. And again, too expensive. His specific payload that he created modifies a DNS entry, and it was designed for OS X, which nobody uses Macs, so no good. And the way he has it set up, he keeps it on a keychain on his necklace, And the problem with this is it has the micro USB port right there, which means you got to connect an adapter to then plug it into someone's computer. That's not subtle. So I started looking around some more, found a couple others. Offensive Security had one called Teensy. Surprise, surprise, it's built off the Teensy. They also have the Net Hunter, which is like Kali Linux on an Android phone. That requires buying an Android phone. That's way too expensive. Kautilya by Nikhil Mittal. It was okay, but it was mainly Teensy as well. I didn't like that. And a couple others I found, but they were all based off Teensies. So, no good. Still too expensive. I bought a Teensy. And I started doing research. And I started playing with it. And I learned how to use offensive PowerShell. And PowerShell, when you're able to inject keystrokes, is super awesome. Made some awesome payloads. Discovered this great thing called LED status. Now, a lot of people don't know is when you press the caps lock button on your keyboard, it tells your computer to turn on the caps lock. But then after, your computer will actually tell the keyboard, yes, caps lock is on, turn on the LED. So I was able to figure out that you can have some code in the Teensy that will detect when that LED status turn the caps lock LED comes on. So it'll know exact moment that the driver is loaded. So that's getting rid of my first problem with the USB rubber ducky. The moment the USB driver is loaded, it will send its payload. I have a little script or a little loop at the beginning, and all it does is mash caps lock. And as soon as it detects caps lock LED come on, bang, right away, it fires off the payload. Again, still not happy about the cost. So I went to Black Hat, and there was a guy doing a talk there called Eli Bernstein. I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong, might be Eli. He did a talk about USB drops and whether they work. I stole this from his presentation. He did some research and dropped 300 USB keys, and 45% of them had somebody pick them up and double-click a file. No idea how many actually plugged in, but 45% opened up a document on the USB stick. That's a lot. If I was doing red team stuff, that would make me really excited. But I thought, okay, cool. He's probably got some awesome homebrew device that he's going to show us. And he did. And it was a teensy. He did something cool for the case at least. He replaced the micro USB port with a male USB port, and then used mold and resin casting to make it look just like a USB stick. That looks really nice, but it costs $40, and that's still way too expensive for me. So I went home motivated, ready to come up with my own invention. Beat this. I've made this point repeatedly, I think. So I went to AliExpress. I found some Arduinos. I found out that Arduino has a very basic keyboard library. So I bought these two bad boys. One on the left, I have it on my keychain. Let me show you how small it is. Adorable for the camera. It's nice and small. It's small enough you can keep it on your keychain. Walk into an office and say to somebody, hey, I got a meeting with your boss, go ask him. Plug it at the back of the computer. That's how good my Arduino is. Turn off the lights. And the other one on the right is just about the right size of a USB stick. I got a bunch of those. And while I was waiting for them to come, because it's AliExpress, it took 60 days for shipping, but it was free. Shopped around on AliExpress some more to see how much I can make a fake USB rubber ducky for it. Just the total cost of all the parts. So at the end of the day, it would have cost me $5 per device, which is not bad. $5 per device, I'll buy 1,000 of them, throw them everywhere. So they came in, I started playing with them. I started learning some interesting things. Like the Arduino keyboard library is very different from the Teensy. It is very limited. It does not have the LED status thing that the Teensy does. However, some guy was nice enough to make one himself and put it on GitHub, and Arduino was nice enough to take it and put it into their official libraries. So you can open up the Arduino IDE, go to Manage Libraries, search for HID, and this is the first that comes up. I got that taken care of. One of the biggest frustrations I found is that the Arduino does not have a program/reset button. So I would program a payload onto it and plug it in, and then it would deliver the payload. But every time I plugged it in, it would automatically deliver the payload. There was no way to stop it from delivering the payload. And while I was learning the subtle nuances of the new library, I discovered if you, in your payload, hold down the Windows button, but forget to release it, and then type out 300 keystrokes, you get like 20 file explorers pop up, a bunch of Outlook, the magnifying glass thing comes on, text-to-speech comes on. I hate that guy's voice so much. I'm so tired of hearing it. But finally, after lots of work, I finally got some good payloads working. And I decided, after talking to Ian at some party a while ago, I think it was B-Sides, he said create a tool and share it with everybody. So I created something, and what it lets you do is generate payloads. It's called Overthruster. Does anybody know where the name comes from? The picture there is a dead giveaway. Come on. Thank you. You win a prize. I will give it to you at the end of the talk, once I reveal what the prize is. It's inspired by one of my favorite sci-fi movies from when I was growing up. Simple menu-driven Python script. It only uses standard Python libraries, so you don't have to install any extra libraries, so it's nice and easily accessible for people. Automatically generates Arduino sketches that'll do these different payloads. It's highly customizable. We've got multiple UAC bypass techniques in it. We've got a great notification bubble option in it. I'll show you in my demo video. I quite like it. And a couple helper function scripts that work with some of the payloads. And by some, I mean one. So, demo time.